Good morning. Thanks for joining us for Local 3 News. I'm Rebecca Bartlemy, and joining me is Chris and Dan. They're volunteers with Lake Superior Life Care and Hospice. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you again for having us.
Yeah, and so we're talking about your experiences with being volunteers in hospice care, and we just want to hear what your stories are. What are your experiences like?
One of the very first people that I was fortunate enough to meet who was dying of really bad heart and lung disease and had a very difficult time speaking because he couldn't get his breath. And so he had to talk like that. And he told me the entire story of his life and those gasping breath, things that were just riveting. He was also a very religious man, and he really couldn't understand why God wasn't ready to take him, because he was ready to go. And because he was so religious, after a bit, he got angry at God. And then he got guilty for being angry at God, and then he wouldn't talk at all anymore. He kind of went into a snit. And his name was George, and one day, several weeks later, I walked into his house to make lunch for him, as I had been doing for now a few months. And he was all smiles, and his old self was back. And I said, George, what happens? You're your old self again. He said, well, I finally know why God isn't taking me. And I said, why is that, George? He said, for you. He said, I've got something to teach you before I die. And I've never forgotten that. He became one of the best friends I've ever had, and I think that kind of friendship, almost immediate friendship that you get as a volunteer with someone in hospice, is one of the take-home things that you don't expect, but it's the one you most treasure.
You know, for people who want to be a volunteer, there's an opportunity for them to do that, right?
Right.
There sure is.
On the 17th of October at 9 o'clock at Lake Superior Hospice and Life Giving, we're going to do a training program. So if anyone is interested in becoming a volunteer, it doesn't mean you have to see patients. There's other ways that you can help with the hospice other than just patients.
I think it's worth a couple of hours of time, if you have it, to get a chance to experience something that may be something that's very important to you for the rest of your life.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Chris and Dan. And for more information, you can check out our website, upmatters.com, and tune to Local 3 News tonight at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock Central for more local news, weather, and sports.